Welcome to America's Dummies, and in today's episode, we will be diving into the Facebook files, a little bit about how X's CEO, Linda Yaccarino, and the, Twitter, X, whatever, partnered up recently with a, I guess, content moderation company or a company that works in blacklisting people from advertisers. So basically, they are involved. They have ties to censoring right-wing or right-leaning websites. And so we're going to get into that and what that might mean for Twitter. But at the same time, what we're going to dive mostly into is the Facebook files.
The Facebook files that came out that prove that this administration violated the First Amendment.
Yep. The Biden regime, a.k.a. the Biden White House, has officially violated your First Amendment rights. Plain and simple, clear as day. We have the proof to back it up. It's in the Facebook files. It's online. You just look it up. It's on X. It's on the House Judiciary Committee
Don't
website.
believe us? Look it up yourself.
Look it up. You can find it. But the White House administration, by Joe Biden, who should be impeached at this time for violating your First Amendment right, who said he is going to uphold the U.S. Constitution, has violated that U.S. Constitution in favor for his pockets. So we'll get into that. But before we do, don't forget to click that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, all the thingies, whether you're on YouTube or Rumble, Spotify, Apple, whatever it may be. Please share this content, because without sharing, we cannot grow. We cannot give you a lot of this content and a lot of our dumbass opinions. So we greatly appreciate you tuning in. And don't forget, we now have an official America's Dummies merch now available. Link in the description below. You can go find it. Although I will say on YouTube, I don't think they're allowing us to have actual links to where you can just click on it. I think you'd have to copy and paste it. But on Rumble, it should be able for you to click. It has something to do with being able to verify you're a real person or all that crap, which I tried, and it didn't let me. So, screw YouTube.
They probably looked at what we were doing and they're like, nah,
we ain't gonna do shit for these people. Anyways, yes, we now have official America Dummies merch. You can get a tumbler, you can get a blanket, coasters, bumper sticker, magnets, t-shirts, and we got more to come too. Oh, even a Bluetooth speaker.
Oh, nice.
I looked at it. I don't know how I feel about it yet because I don't have it in hand, but it looks pretty nice. So if that's your jam, you can get that too. But you can help support us by getting some America's Dummies merch, or you can go to our GoFundMe. Again, link in the description below. So that will help us greatly, I should say. Not generally, greatly. But anyways, the best thing you could do for us, support or not, is just share this content with other people that you think would enjoy it.
Share.
Sharing is caring, and we care. So we give you our dumbass opinions. Yes. All right. So without further ado, let's dive in. All right, and thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I am Kyle McClure, and joined with me, as always, is the one, the only, the amazing Lone Wolf. How you doing, man? What's up?
Oh, doing good, man. A little excited about the NFL.
The NFL? I'm more excited about college. I feel like mine is more echoey.
Probably.
Is it not? See, man, I cannot get this audio right. It just continues to be... See, like right here, it sounds so much better. Over here, it sounds like it echoes.
I think it's the mics, too. Maybe you should turn me down and I'll sit closer to it like this.
Might be. That might be it. See, that sounds a little bit better. Maybe because that one's not registering me as well. See, that's the problem. You are so soft-spoken that when we turn your mic up, I am pretty loud, so it catches it, registers mine.
Well, maybe I should change mics.
Or speak up.
Have one here.
Yeah, I don't think that... No, because we can't. Because it's we can't plug it in here because this is XLR connection able. Sorry, guys. I know it's a little boring, but it's like we're trying to figure out what to do with the audio because we don't want it to... Like, you can have the best video possible, but if the audio sounds like absolute dog crap, you ain't going to listen. You ain't going to watch. Like, audio has a big aspect to it, and Look, we are more into the politics thing, not the audio and video thing, so bear with us.
A lot of the podcasts that are video that I watch, I don't even watch the video.
Yeah, it's true. Because I drive a lot, I have to listen. I just listen to it.
So audio is very important.
Audio is extremely important. Not to mention, a lot of times people will put it on in the background, which I'm sure a lot of y'all do it. You know, turn us on, listen to us in the background, strolling. Maybe like, oh, this is somewhat interesting. I mean, a little stupid, but somewhat interesting. And then they clean the house because that's apparently
all of a sudden they
more entertaining.
And they go, "What did he say?"
Today's a pretty good day. We had a new place here in the Austin Cedar Park area called Violates.
Violates restaurant.
Yeah, that was some good stuff. So if you're ever in this area, if you live or visit this area, Austin or Cedar Park area, the restaurant Violates, it's like a little hole in the wall, but it is super good. Good Mexican and Venezuelan food. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, one little thing that does like I've had bigger meals, but that one just hit the spot, and I didn't know if I could finish it. I was like, son of a bitch.
It was pretty good. It was actually really good.
Was it I had an arepa con pollo? Arepa con pollo?
Mm-hmm. It had chicken, cheese, and the sauce.
Chicken, cheese. Let's see, black beans, and it comes with avocado, but I don't like avocado, so I took that shit off.
But it's rated 4.9, and it's pretty good food.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's really good. Definitely worth another visit. But I'm sure you guys didn't tune in to hear what we had for lunch, so let's get right into it. And as you heard in the intro, we are going to talk about the fact that the Facebook files have come out. And if you're not aware what the Facebook files are, they're similar to the Twitter files. But the Facebook files actually have proof, internal documentation from Facebook, proof that they only handed over to the House Oversight Judiciary Committee because they threatened to, I think it was subpoena or hold in contempt Mark Zuckerberg, who is the CEO, founder of Facebook, also known as Meta. So once they threatened to hold him in contempt, that's when Facebook decided to release all their internal memos. And there's about 4 Twitter threads.
Yeah, 4 parts.
Yeah, 4 parts to the Facebook files Twitter threads so far from Jim Jordan, who is the head of the House Judiciary Oversight Committee, if I'm not mistaken. Well, the Facebook files have definitive proof that the Biden regime, also known as the Biden White House administration, they are officially unconstitutional and have violated our First Amendment rights. And that in itself, what they did with Facebook to censor opposing viewpoints, censor truth, censor what they deemed misinformation, which even Facebook employees were like, their definition of misinformation is different. It's confusing. It's vague. Mm-hmm. That isn't enough. What Joe Biden did and his administration did with Facebook to censor the speech of civilians, which is literally a direct violation of the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, the highest document ever created that ensures that you can say what you want without being attacked by the government. Land. It's the law of the land. Yeah. They violated that, and that is grounds for impeachment. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Not at all.
When you get sworn in, you take an oath to uphold the Constitution.
Yeah, and Joe Biden is upholding his pockets, not the Constitution.
Yeah, and we talked about this before, and it was like alleged before, but now that these files came out, it's like definite proof.
Oh yeah,
that it was being
definitive proof that they actually censored or pressured censored. So it was one of those things like they were having direct communication with Facebook to pressure Facebook into censoring opposing viewpoints.
Yep.
And information directly related, a lot of areas directly, but the main one being directed towards COVID-19 vaccines.
COVID-19 vaccines, and it was making, I guess, the conservative side of a target of that too. Like anything conservative was being censored. Even what's his name? Rob Flaherty. He's the director. Flaherty.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm Puerto Rican. He's the director of digital strategy for the Biden administration. Mm-hmm. I mean, he straight up went to Facebook and told them to if you were able to, could you, promote content from the New York Post and
Nothing's New York Times.
New York Times, Wall Street Journal, the leftist.
Big mainstream established media.
Yep. And then go ahead and cancel or discourage the reach to Daily Wire and the conservative side media.
Yeah, Daily Wire being one of the biggest right-leaning news organizations out there. If you're unaware of that, if you are aware of who Ben Shapiro is, he is one of the runners and co-creators of the Daily Wire, and that's where his podcast is based out of, is the Daily Wire. And so it is definitive proof that they actually targeted Daily Wire by saying, hey, can you please promote these left-leaning media outlets, media sources that will promote what our narrative and our agenda over places like the Daily Wire. And so, again, they're not allowed to do that. And a lot of this also came out after the fact that a judge just recently came down from the lawsuit Missouri versus Biden about their interference with social media companies and attack against our First Amendment rights, that the Biden administration, unless it's for extraordinary circumstances such as terrorism, unlawful things that
national security,
they are to not have any direct communication with social media companies. And they are now trying to push back on that and file, what are they filing? It's not an injunction, is it? No, it's not an injunction. The judge doesn't
they're appealing the decision
they're
because
trying to appeal the decision.
They don't agree that they shouldn't mess with social media and their censorship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And speaking of that, you guys want to know some proof? Here is an internal document to Mark and Sheryl. So Mark Zuckerberg, CEO, and Sheryl Sandberg, COO of Facebook. This is a internal document to them, and it says, we are seeking your guidance on whether to take more aggressive action against certain vaccine discouraging content. We are facing continued pressure from external stakeholders, including the White House and the press, to remove more COVID-19 vaccine discouraging content. I think so three keywords: pressure, White House, remove, discouraging. Those four right there, I think, are some of the most key words to it, because not only are they facing pressure from the White House, meaning the White House is going to Facebook, hey, what are you doing about these so-called misinformation and disinformation posts from people on regardless of who they are, but mostly they're right-wing or independent, but what are you doing to censor that? What are you doing to diminish their reach? So they went on there and they're pressuring them to take certain content down that gets people from taking the vaccine, which, by the way, vaccine hesitancy about something that we know very little about and is extremely new is not a bad thing at all. In fact, a lot of times that'll probably save your life.
There is going to be hesitancy. Like, we don't know what it is. And by the way, I'm not vaccinated and I'm still here. I got sick a couple times. So.
I'm not vaccinated and I haven't gotten COVID once. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
It's like, I've known so many people who've gotten COVID. It's like almost everybody in my family had COVID at least once, and each and every one of them are doing great. No issues. None.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, censoring the discouragement of the vaccine just so they can get the vaccine out to everybody.
So here's the thing too. Discouraging content. What is discouraging content? Who determines if it's discouraging content? Because one of the examples that they put is one of the number 3 posts, I guess, vaccine-related posts on Facebook during this time, where they're questioning between, I think, the week of 4/5 through 4/11 in, I want to say 2021. Yeah, it's 2021. Excuse me. The number 3 post was a vaccine discouraging humorous meme. Okay, and it was basically a meme that was saying, 10 years from now, we will be watching TV and hear, did you or a loved one take the COVID vaccine? You may be entitled. I mean, it's like, how you see those kind of infomercials, if you will, about drugs or certain situations that happen.
Did you work in this plant with the asbestos?
Yeah, exactly. You might be entitled to compensatory funds or some shit like that, right? Well, some dude posted that, And they took that down because the Biden administration felt that was discouraging people from taking the COVID-19 vaccine. Even though it's like we don't know what's in the COVID-19 vaccine. It's not like your normal vaccines, and you're telling us we need to take it. And you're lying to us by saying that if you take the vaccine, you won't get infected, you won't get sick, you will be fine, which was a monstrous of a lie.
Yeah, that was not.
That was misinformation. But are they going to take that down? No, they're not. And I wouldn't encourage them to. I don't think they should. I think people should be able to see who's lying to you and who's not.
Yeah, people should be able to make an informed and educated decision on their own, not just because the government tells you you're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, that could lead to so many bad things that, not even just a vaccine, it could lead to riots, to war, to whatever the government wants us to do. If we believe them, what are we?
Yeah. I mean, just like New Zealand, I think it was New Zealand recently said that if you don't hear anything about a certain situation, right? So let's say it's about COVID. If it doesn't come from the government, it's false or it's not true. They said that to their own citizens. And so far, nothing. Nothing from the citizens. Like if Joe Biden came out today and said, if the vaccine don't government is from us, right? You'd be like, first off,
what?
Well, his brain is mush, and Kamala Harris be like, I mean, it's like, okay, so she can't say anything other than a weird evil laugh. But either way, if Joe Biden and the administration or Karine Jean-Pierre said, if you don't hear anything that comes out about COVID-19 or the climate change, and if you hear information in regards to climate change or COVID-19 or the 2020 election or 2024 election, if you don't hear
abortion,
yeah, right,
gender,
anything, gender. If you don't hear anything
that they're trying to push,
anything that involves a democrat and leftist ideology narrative.
Yeah.
If you hear something about any of those topics and it's not from the government, it's not true. Everybody would immedially discredit them. Yeah. Everybody would immediately discredit them. They'd be like, what in the world makes you think that you are right of all things? The government has a history of lying.
Yeah.
And so
it's been going on forever. I mean, that's how they maintain their power.
Yeah, it is. You control the words, you control the narrative, you control the population.
Yeah.
You know, that reminds me. There's a movie, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, if I
Mm-hmm.
pronounced that last word correct.
You did.
Never been able to say it, as far as I'm aware.
I think
it's such a weird name. It's such a weird word. Anyway, so that movie, I believe it's the second one in the Alien vs. Predator series. There's a woman. Sorry for the spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. If you haven't, it's been out for a while. Go watch it.
You should have seen it already.
Yeah, you should have seen it already.
Then again, there's people out there
that, bro, we work with people that they haven't seen, they've barely seen the Rush Hour movies, they haven't seen all the Harry Potter movies, they haven't seen, all the Bad Boy movies. I mean, there's other people that's just like, what the hell do you do? And the answer is TikTok, YouTube, social media. Yeah. That's what they do.
Stuck on a screen full of fake stuff. Oh, no, did I say that?
So is movies and TV shows.
I know.
But they're more entertaining. Anyway, so the movie has a lot of people going to the center of the town. At least they were ordered with an infestation of aliens. They were ordered for them to go to the middle of the town, and the military would come in and evacuate them all, right? Well, there's a group of people that were saying, no, we shouldn't. That's not true. They're not going to save us. We need to get out of here ourselves. And there's a woman that ended up saying, but the government doesn't lie. And I remember watching that with my dad, and he wasn't really paying attention, but he heard that line. He broke out into the loudest laughter, like fucking knee slapper kind of laugh. And he was just laughing his ass off. And I remember I paused the movie because he was disrupting my movie, okay? And I paused the movie, let him finish laughing, and I was like, what's so funny? He was like, I was like 10 years old. And he was like, the fact that she said the government doesn't lie? I was like, okay. He was like, they always lie. They always lie. So it's just a very funny scene. Sure enough, they all went to the middle of the town and they nuked the town. But, yeah, the government doesn't lie. Of course not. But yeah, you control the narrative, you control the words, you control the population. And that's exactly what they're trying to do in regards to COVID-19. And so they violated by pressuring them to remove content from their Facebook page, or at the very least, reduce their ability to reach people. Right? And Tucker Carlson, one of his posts, that's a great one, right?
Yep.
What did they say about Tucker Carlson? Because you looked more into that than I did.
A little bit, but I think you read it pretty longer than I did. But basically, they reduced his reach to like 50% or greater for at least 7 days while his video was in the fact check
Stage.
queue. Yeah.
So while they are putting his post in the fact check column to be fact checked, right? Post to be fact checked, which, by the way, who determines if it's fact checked? Who determines if it's true? They decided to
but the
hold
videos,
off on it.
the videos about the COVID-19 vaccine didn't get reduced 50% while they were being fact checked.
They're still being fact checked to this day in terms of its side effects.
They're not
By the
gonna
way,
fact-check
the
that.
general surgeon. Oh, let me see if I can find that. The general surgeon, another person associated again with the Biden administration, who also works under Biden, was basically saying, I think it's under the second group of Facebook files, but they were saying that the general. Let's see. It was the general surgeon was telling them to censor true information. Yeah, here we go. So this is under something that's labeled true information. Number one, true information, A delta, whatever that means. And they highlighted it. The Surgeon General wants us to remove true information about side effects if the user does not provide complete information about whether the side effect is rare and treatable. We do not recommend pursuing this practice. Even Facebook employees did not recommend removing true information about side effects.
Yeah, why shouldn't people know that?
Yeah, whether it's rare and treatable or not. Like, people need to know what those side effects are.
Yeah.
And that's why I just
worse.
don't understand.
That's worse than the commercials that they put on TV, for medication. Side effects include blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, it's like half the
blah,
commercial is them citing the side effects. Like,
at least they put
what?
them on there.
Yeah,
This guy
at
wanted
least
them
they put them
removed.
on there. He wanted them removed.
Freedom of speech violation. All over
I
the
just
place.
don't. I mean, a lot of it too was trying to not only censor people that they disagree with, but a lot of it was to not remove, but reduce certain platforms, right-leaning websites, right-leaning content creators, and information that disagreed with their narrative that the COVID-19 is the most dangerous one out there, the most dangerous disease out there that humanity has ever faced, that if you don't get the vaccine, you're going to die. The vaccine is completely safe, blah, 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 even though it was just created. Technology's never been tested, right? And they, by the way, this is the same administration that everybody involved, including Democrats who are no longer in office, all said, if the vaccine comes out and available and ready under Donald Trump, we will not take it. Then guess what happens? The 2020 election happens. Biden gets elected.
Forgot about that.
Biden gets elected. He gets in office. What do they do immediately after? They say, everybody needs to take these vaccines. I'll be the first in line to take it.
The ones that said they wouldn't take
The
it.
ones that said they
Under
wouldn't
Trump.
take it under Trump are now,
hypocrites, right?
once they got elected, then they started saying, hey, everybody take the vaccine. It's great. Like Tony the Tiger. Like, come on. I'd rather inject myself with anything other than that, honestly. I would rather inject myself with bleach.
I don't know about that.
At least bleach will have an immediate response.
Yeah.
And I can get immediate treatment. With the vaccines, well, I don't know.
Oh, these
I can get
documents are
censored for all that shit on YouTube. But don't forget, you can check us out on Rumble, and it is free speech so long as you don't violate the law.
Yeah.
So check us out on Rumble and YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it's called. And also, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And turn on that notification bell. And you can check us out on our America's Dummies merch page.
and you can let your
Description
friends
link
know.
below. Yeah. Pretty cool merch, by the way. But anyways, back to the topic.
I still gotta buy the sticker.
Bumper. Hey, we have an idea. Should we tell them about the bumper sticker idea with the...
No,
No?
not yet.
Let that... Okay.
No.
Never mind.
Surprise for later.
Surprise. We ain't going to tell you. But, yeah. So, they continue to do that. They continue to pressure Facebook. They pressured Twitter. They worked with Twitter. They worked with Facebook to moderate content, to censor content, especially ones that they didn't agree with, and especially if it's right-leaning, including RFK Jr., by the way. He was one of the deemed disinformation dozen from a separate company called the Center for... What is it? Center for... CCDH. Center for Censoring Digital Hate, I believe is what it's called. Center for Censoring Digital Hate.
Yeah.
Well, they were also ones that created a list of people who they deemed the disinformation dozen, and they worked with the White House administration to create a list of people that they deemed to be spreading a lot of hate and misinformation and disinformation online. Therefore, they needed to be put in check by censoring or reducing their reach.
And by that, you mean information that they didn't
agree with. Exactly. Yeah. Because no one can tell you what disinformation or misinformation is on the left. They can't tell you what hate speech is on the left because it doesn't exist. Hate speech does not exist.
Speech exists.
Speech is speech. Okay? Hate is a feeling you have towards someone. Words do not have feelings. If you can express feelings to the best of your ability, and you could hate someone and say some words, but at the same time, how's that hate speech? That's
a whole nother topic.
It's a whole nother topic. We'll get into that some other day. But
so, like
by the way, that CCDH, that Center for Censoring Digital Hate. I hope that is the correct one.
I don't know if it is.
But actually, I think I have it pulled up.
I have no idea. But while you look that up, Katrina Trinko, she's the director and editor-in-chief of the Daily Signal. So she was the commentary. She did the commentary for an article on the Heritage. And she said, Biden might as well rip the Constitution in front of a camera.
Who said that? Oh, for Daily Caller or Daily Signal?
Daily Signal.
She's the
editor-in-chief.
Yeah, you might as well just rip the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Okay, so, by the way, I found it. It's Center for Countering Digital Hate. My bad. Countering Digital Hate.
You got it.
Okay, so that is a British nonprofit group with an affiliated U.S. charity. Okay? By the way, that same group has connections to a global disinformation index. That global disinformation index,
GDI.
Yeah, GDI is a British-based company, British-based organization, and it has ties to something called integral ad science. And this ties into censorship because what we just found out is that X, the CEO of X, formerly known as Twitter, whatever her name is, I completely forgot already. I for some reason it's hard for me. Linda Yacchino or whatever her name is. Linda Yaccarino. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Yeah, Linda Yaccarino, who's the CEO of Twitter, who, by the way, has ties to the World Economic Forum. And the World Economic Forum wants one world order under them and reduced population, by the way. Side note. But anyways, so she announced that they are partnering with Integral Ad Science, especially this new tool that they have coming up that's based on AI that'll help them moderate content for advertisers. And both Integral Ad Sciences and GDI are both have histories of blacklisting conservative or right-leaning websites for misinformation and disinformation. And she even said herself, they're committed at X for freedom of speech, not reach. So if it's lawful but awful, it'll be really hard to find. Which I'm like, great. Who determines what's awful? Who determines what's misinformation? Who determines what the reach is? Is it graphic content? Is it words you disagree with? What is decided? And I just like, seriously. So with that, only time will tell. But I'm just extremely worried about
they
that.
should, if the stuff is bad, slap a label on it.
Like kind of like we had that idea before, to where just put a label on it, PG-13.
No, just
Rated R.
Whenever you come across that specific tweet or post or video, it'll be like blanked out. This video contains graphic material, whatever. Do you want to see it or not? If you don't, keep scrolling.
Yeah, but at the same time, if it's words that you disagree with, but you should see it because it espouses the truth, will that be blocked out too?
That's true.
And a lot of people aren't going to go through the trouble to click it. They're just going to keep scrolling to the next thing because they're mind zombies and they just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Kind of like how you probably found out about us. You scrolled and scrolled and scrolled.
Yeah, you went
That's
all
what
the
we
way
do.
down.
All the way down to the bottom because you're bored to the 160 millionth view
But
or result.
You know, to me, these companies need to get their act together. And you know, if you're gonna moderate stuff, fine. Like, but figure it out. Like, what are you gonna moderate? And make sure that the companies you're using are unbiased. They're not. They don't have a preference.
They don't
to
have a political
political
motivation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so we have about 30 seconds left before this, so we're going to go ahead and end it there. We still have a lot more to talk about, but we figured we can save this for another episode. Mm-hmm. But thank you guys all for tuning into this one. We greatly appreciate it. Don't forget, you can now check out America's Dummies merch down in the description below. Really nice. You can also support us at our GoFundMe. And above all that, we just ask that you click the like button, click subscribe, and you share this content with anybody and everybody that you think will be interested, because we will not grow without you. So thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.
Fight for your rights.